Top 10 Most Expensive Nuts in the World. Hey there, nut enthusiasts! Welcome back to my Wonder List with your host Sarah. Today we're diving deep into the world of opulence and flavor as we unveil the creme de la creme of nuts. Get ready to be amazed as we count down the top 10 most expensive nuts in the world. From the rare to the luxurious, these nuts are not just a treat for your taste buds, but a symbol of extravagance. So, without further ado, let's crack open this treasure trove of nutty goodness. Nuts are popular snacks due to their high nutritional content and delicious flavors. But they're some of the most expensive ingredients on the planet. But some nuts are far pricier than others. What factors make nuts so expensive? If you enjoy snacking on mixed nuts, you've likely noticed how expensive nuts are. After all, a bag of potato chips might cost about $4 for 8 ounces. But a similarly sized container of mixed nuts typically costs $6 or more. There are quite a few things that make nuts more expensive than other snacks. Some of the most significant factors influencing nut prices include: one of the best ways to understand why some nuts are more expensive than others is to consider these factors. Let's explore the top reasons why nuts are costly. Growing challenges. While you might be able to grow peanuts in a simple pot, other types of nuts require complex growing conditions and environments. For example, pine nuts come from full-grown pinyon pine trees that thrive in semi-arid or Mediterranean climates. Humid and cold climates can kill these trees, resulting in a dramatic drop in pine nut supply. Additionally, some nut-bearing plants take several years to start producing nuts, which is another considerable growing challenge. Time constraints. Some nut-bearing plants and trees take nearly half a decade to produce harvestable nuts. For example, macadamia nut trees don't start making nuts until they're 5 years old. At this point, they might only bear a handful of edible nuts. It takes more than a decade for these trees to reach full production. So farmers looking to grow nut-bearing trees have to wait a long time to see a profit from their crops. These time constraints make some nuts scarce, as many producers aren't willing to invest the long-term time and effort to grow them. Those who decide to grow nut-bearing trees typically mark up the cost of their products to account for the labor and time required to produce nuts. Additionally, nuts of all types are consistently in high demand, partially due to the various health benefits they provide. Desirable health benefits. Unlike many other typical snacks, like chips, candy, and fried foods, snacks are wholesome and healthy, though the nutrient content of nuts varies depending on the type. Most nuts are rich in unsaturated fats, fiber, and minerals. These qualities make nuts a heart-healthy and gut-friendly alternative to other snacks. You can also add nuts to other ingredients to create elevated meals. For example, a handful of crushed pistachios makes a perfect coating for a tuna fillet. And peanuts are a common addition to Thai cuisine. Transportation costs. Many of the world's most expensive nuts are grown in remote regions or faraway countries. That's because some nut species require specific soil and light conditions to thrive. Consequently, many types of nuts incur high transportation costs. When you add a long growing process and high demand to these shipping costs, prices skyrocket. For that reason, many of the most high-maintenance nuts, those that only grow in certain places around the world, command the steepest prices. Here is the list: top 10 most expensive nuts in the world. 10. Hazelnuts. As you might suspect, hazelnuts come from hazel trees. They're similar to acorns in shape and appearance, and they have a distinctly earthy flavor. Roasted hazelnuts are a popular treat, especially during the winter season. But while these nuts are an excellent holiday treat, they're also somewhat pricey. You can expect to spend upwards of $7 per pound on shelled hazelnuts. However, if you're willing to crack open the shells yourself, you could save a little on these wholesome snacks. 9. Walnuts. Walnuts are lobe-shaped nuts hidden inside round, gray and black shells. Their shape is often compared to that of the human brain, and for a good reason. These nuts are full of nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols. These compounds may help boost cognitive ability, making them a brain-friendly snack. Fortunately, walnut trees grow somewhat quickly. But these trees still take about a decade to start producing nuts, which makes these nuts relatively pricey. Depending on the retailer, a pound of shelled walnuts might cost you between $15 and $19. 8. Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are large, soft, and a fantastic snack. They're among the few nuts that provide a decent amount of selenium, a compound known for improving cognitive function and boosting the immune system. These nuts originate from the Amazon River basin. They come from massive trees that produce coconut-like pods, each one hiding several nuts. Brazil nut trees primarily grow in South America, limiting their supply and making them relatively expensive. If you're eager to enjoy the rich taste and unique health benefits of these nuts, you'll likely spend at least $20 per pound. 7. Pecans. Organic raw pecans cost about $22 per pound, making them one of the most expensive nuts in the world. If you prefer your pecans roasted, you can expect to spend a little more, about $23 per pound. These nuts are some of the sweetest and creamiest nuts, lending them well to desserts of all types. Pecans and ice cream go hand in hand, so be sure to pair some raw pecan halves with the most expensive ice creams. These oblong nuts are also rich in wholesome nutrients like vitamin E, potassium, and zinc. Because they're a healthy snack, pecans are always in demand. 6. Pine nuts. Though many people have allergies to pine nuts, those who can safely consume them are in for a treat. These nuts are soft and mild, and they're also overflowing with nutrients. When you eat a handful of pine nuts, you're enjoying a boost of iron, zinc, and magnesium. Pine nuts are also rich in protein and antioxidants, making them far healthier than peanuts or macadamia nuts, both high in fats. They often cost about $22 per pound. 5. Macadamia nuts. The large, pearl-like macadamia nut has a reputation for being the most expensive nut in the world. And, to be fair, it is far pricier than peanuts and almonds. That said, its $25 per pound price tag pales in comparison to other types of nuts. Macadamia nuts are popular for several reasons, including taste. They have a smooth, butter-like texture and flavor that pairs well with baked goods. Consequently, you'll likely find them included in cookie recipes. However, eating these nuts raw is just as pleasant, as they have a firm exterior but a slightly softer interior. This quality makes macadamia nuts somewhat easier on the teeth than hard nuts like almonds. 4. Baru nuts. At first glance, baru nuts might look like smooth coffee beans or chocolate-covered pine nuts. However, they have a rich flavor similar to cashews or peanuts. Their dark brown exteriors hide a pale nut that's one of the most nutrient-rich nuts in the world. Baru nuts are chock full of gut-friendly dietary fiber, protein, calcium, and iron. As a result, they're an excellent dietary addition for those who avoid meats and dairy. Still, baru nuts are only grown in specific regions of Brazil. They're not the easiest nuts to find, and they can cost a pretty penny to ship. They're also comparatively expensive, with an average cost of about $26 per pound. 3. Pistachios. Pistachio nuts are rich green and purple seeds partially concealed by off-white hard shells. These nuts grow on pistachio trees, originating in semi-arid areas throughout the Middle East and Asia. Today, you can find pistachio trees in California, New Mexico, and Arizona. Like peanuts and almonds, pistachios are some of the most popular nuts in North American markets. Unlike other standard types of nuts, pistachios have a light, pine-like flavor that's almost minty. For this reason, pistachios are often added to sweets, like ice cream. However, desserts aren't the only way to consume pistachio nuts. Many of the most expensive fish cuts, including tuna, pair well with pistachios. So you might want to incorporate some luxury ingredients together to create a high-quality dish. Of course, you'll need to be prepared to invest if you're determined to enjoy the highest quality pistachios. A 1-pound bag typically costs $28 or more. 2. Pili nuts. There's a good chance that you've never heard of pili nuts. After all, these nuts are specific to the Philippines. That said, if you're a fan of nutrient-rich nuts, you'll want to add pili nuts to your shopping list. These nuts grow in mineral-rich volcanic soil, imbuing them with various nutrients, including magnesium and phosphorus. They're also full of monosaturated fats, which might help lower cholesterol levels. But one of the biggest draws of these peanut-like nuts is their flavor. Pili nuts are unique thanks to their butter-like richness, making them a perfect addition to cookies and cakes, as well as ideal standalone snacks. However, you'll likely spend about $34 for a single pound of these tasty nuts. 1. Mediterranean pine nuts. Though pinyon pine trees grow throughout the semi-arid regions of North America, the priciest pine nuts hail from countries within the Mediterranean region. The most expensive of these nuts come from Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Mediterranean pine nuts are a golden color, and they're unbelievably smooth, having an almost silk-like texture. They're harvested from mature pine cones, which is a labor-intensive process. Generally, these nuts are often priced at $45 per pound. Pine nuts are a primary ingredient for many dishes, including pesto sauce, hummus, pignolia loaf, and pine nut cookies. If you're looking for an elevated and luxurious experience, be sure to snack on a few Mediterranean pine nuts while sipping a glass of the world's most expensive milk. And that concludes our journey through the world of indulgence and nutty decadence. From the exotic to the exquisite, these pricey nuts have certainly given us a taste of the finer things in life. Which of these expensive nuts surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this nutty adventure, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my Wonder List for more captivating lists, and remember to stay nuts about life. This is Sarah, signing off.